everybody. Welcome back to day 2, Breakfast with Bob from the Challenge Championship. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by Master Spas, HOKA, Fly Human Fly, deboer wetsuits, the Outrigger Kona Resort and Spa, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. My next guest, first time we got to chat, Mr. Jack Hutchens from the UK. How you doing, Jack?
Yeah, good. Thanks so much for having me. This is an absolute honor.
Well, it's an honor for me to get to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
Anytime that a pro takes their time to guide somebody in the Paralympics, to really sacrifice their race for somebody else, I'm very impressed with that. How did you get into that part, into guiding? And who'd you guide?
So I was a reserve guide for Dave Ellis, who won the gold.
He won the gold.
Yeah, Paris, and his main guide is Luke Pollard.
Yes.
So those guys make an amazing team, and they were just looking for someone really to be reserve in case anything happened to Luke. So I raced with Dave a little bit just to kind of prepare and make sure that if I was required to race at Paris, I was ready to go. Luckily, nothing happened to Luke, and those guys make an amazing team. They managed to pull out the bag. And get the gold in Paris. It was, a bit of redemption for them because at the previous Paralympics, they had a mechanical on the bike.
I remember, and they were a big favorite.
Exactly.
They were a huge favorite.
Exactly.
They had a chain issue or something, and they were out.
Yeah, so it's amazing to kind of be a part of that and just see them get the gold. And obviously I played a small part, but it was such a cool thing to be a part of.
And it's we were chatting earlier. When you're racing for yourself, if you have a crappy day, you have a crappy day.
Exactly.
But when you're the guide, and if you have a crappy day, you're messing up their day. That's so much more pressure.
100%, yeah. I mean, I make a lot of mistakes in my own races, but it's just me. It doesn't matter so much. Right. Obviously, I have sponsors and stuff that, it's nice to have a good day. But when it's their career on the line, definitely the pressure's on, and I want to make sure that I'm performing, we're performing as a team. And
yes. Move this guy a little closer.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. Your voice is great. I just want to make sure we get it. So when I look back at some of the races, you've been in the sport for just a few years, or were you on the I2 circuit first?
No, so I came to the triathlon relatively late. I kind of grew up doing middle distance running, a bit of water polo, surf lifesaving.
Water polo,
exactly.
No autopsy, no foul.
That's
a brutal sport.
Definitely, it's good fun. But so I got a feel for the water in that environment. And it wasn't until after university, after college, that I kind of started triathlon, I guess, seriously. And just taking each year as it came, really. I've been racing professionally for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. My kind of results have just progressed each year. So heading in a nice direction. And just kind of super lucky and feel really happy. And if you told me 5 years ago that I'd be being interviewed by yourself, then I'd been, kind of so happy. So it's very lucky to be doing what I'm doing.
When I look back and just in 2022, you got second at Challenge Wales, and that seems like that was pretty early.
Exactly.
This is pretty good.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting one because I only barely qualified for my pro license that year, actually. So it was a bit of a fluke performance, as it were. And I think with racing, kind of, and everyone knows that a lot has to go right, and there's a lot of luck involved. And that was a day where everything kind of went my way. I got a lot of luck. And then since then, after that race, I kind of tended to have, I guess, a lot more bad luck. Things weren't going my way until kind of last year. Training was going well, but nothing kind of came together really until the back end of last year, where
you had a couple wins.
Yeah, had some decent results again. So it's but that's sport, right? And you kind of just got to keep at it and things, hope things come together, and they have been recently. So
well, and you guys have such a great heritage when it comes to triathlon with the Brownlee brothers and Chrissy Wellington from the long distance side, and obviously Simon Lessing and Spencer Smith. And being a water polo guy, you probably didn't know anything about any of those characters.
Yeah, I mean, I always looked on the Brownies are household names, right? Yeah. So even when I wasn't in triathlon, you're definitely looking at what those guys are doing and thinking that's next level. And Brownie's on the start list for this race, right? So
he's not here.
He's not here now.
He's got COVID.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. He wanted to be here for Richard Vargas' last triathlon.
Yeah. Oh, that's because I've never actually raced him, so that would have been pretty special
shot
for me.
You'll get another shot. I'm sure.
One day.
When he misses this race, I'm sure he'll be looking for another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Very quickly. So this last year, what do you look at as maybe a race that told you, okay, I think I'm coming along. I think I'm back where I should be.
Yeah, I mean, that race challenge Vubaku, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You know what? That's one you won.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm glad I had you say that rather than me.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, leading up to that, I had kind of a lot of bad luck in races, and that race again, things just came together. We had Harry Palmer on the bike,
yes.
Chenzino, the Frenchman, they kind of got away. And luckily I was able to bridge up to them. It was a bit of a Hail Mary attempt, and I thought this could be, my way to walking on the run, but managed to bridge up to them, and we got a gap into T2, and then I had good run legs. So it's one of those days that just everything came together.
Can't be scared of the moment.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You get an opportunity. You could end up walking, but you can end up walking anyways.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. There's a lot. You got to take those risks, right? And,
absolutely.
Going into that one, my goal was like a top 5, top 6. So really looking at the way I raced, I probably wasn't playing to that goal. I was playing for the win, and it paid off big time. But you never know, and you have a split second to make these kind of decisions. It's funny really, because you think when you're looking back at the race that there's all these like minor decisions that are being made, and it's kind of so complicated, but then almost when you're in the moment, it's just go as hard as you can from start to gun, and that's what happens, right? But that's kind of how it feels in the moment, but then you're looking back and you're thinking, actually there were a little bit more, there's more to it, right? But yeah, so no, and then I kind of was able to back up that win. That kind of gave me some momentum, and had a few more decent results at the end of last season. So hoping to continue that on this year. I had a bit of illness to start this season. I raced 3 weeks ago, but had an illness going in, so I wasn't able to finish that one.
Right.
So this is kind of has been my focus for the first part of the year, this race, and I'm hoping to get one on the board, and have a good start to the season, really.
Yeah, well, and last year you also had a second at Challenge Peguera Mallorca, and a third at Barcelona, 8th at Bahrain.
Yeah.
I mean, as a runner, if someone told you you're going to run 8 or 9 half marathons a year, that's a lot of running. It's like your world-class runner is probably not running 9 half marathons a year.
Yeah, for sure. There's and with the guiding as well, you kind of feel like you're going from race to race to race. But that's what I love to do. So it's I mean, I look at some of the other guys like Cam Worth and those guys who are racing, an obscene amount. So maybe it's not so bad. But and especially, I think more people are racing more and more. But maybe that's why there's maybe more injuries around at the moment. So it's kind of trying to get that balance right,
I remember when Cam first got into the sport, he one year he did 8 Ironmans.
Yeah.
And he told me, I said, Cam, that's ridiculous. And he goes, he goes, the amount of training that those guys do, he goes, Bob, I could get up every morning and do a 2.4 mile swim and a 112-mile bike ride. I mean, it doesn't take a thing out of me. I'm like, oh my God. But he also said something really interesting. He said he was racing, it was at Challenge Roth. And he was racing Jesse Thomas, and he was racing Sebastian Kienle. Yeah. And what happened was Cam's leading off the bike and knows Sebastian passes him, and then Jesse passes him, and he's like, those guys look awful. They're not even going to finish. They look like crap. And they took first and third or whatever they took. And Cam says, you know what? It's not a beauty contest out here. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's just get from point A to point B. Exactly. And that's, you learn from racing.
Yeah, for sure.
You learn from those moments. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what are your goals for the rest of the year?
So, I mean, last year I kind of built momentum through the season and had a good back end of the year. So I think, I mean, I'm following a similar approach in terms of my periodization and training going through the year. So it's kind of looking to continue to build through the year. I'm guiding for, or I'm kind of be reserve guide for Dave and Oscar, another visually impaired athlete at the Para World Championships in Wollongong at the end of the year. So that's a focus. That's in October. And there's a lot of other races around then. It's kind of just taking each one as it comes and seeing how we can kind of build from each one, right?
Well, and then last year you were 15th here.
Yeah.
We were talking beforehand about how freaking cold that was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I grew up doing surf lifesaving, so and I kind of lifeguarded on the beach quite a bit. So I'm used to the cold water, getting in and having to get in there when you don't want to. But to race is another thing, right? You know, I think nobody had any blood in their arms for the first 500 meters of the swim, and
it's hard to put your face in.
Exactly.
When it's that cold.
Exactly. You get the brain freeze, and it's not nice. But I think you said 15 degrees, so I haven't been in this year, but maybe that's a little bit warmer than last year. So fingers crossed we can cope a little better this year.
I love it. Jack, a pleasure to get to meet you, man. Thanks for taking time. And it'll be great to watch you race it on Sunday.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Jack Hutchens has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob, day 2 from Challenge Championship. Hold on, we will be right back.